Here we're going to have a look at the carbon cycle, and these questions tend to be quite easy, quite straightforward, as long as you do a bit of revision on them, and it is just a description question. So you just need to be able to name the key processes, where they occur, and what the change in the form of carbon is. So let's run through it. Let's start off with the most basic bit, with carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. Now, the only real way to take carbon dioxide out of the atmosphere is by photosynthesis, which is why we stress so much the importance of plants and not going through deforestation. Now, from this point, this is now turned into sugars. So that is this conversion here. Sunlight and carbon dioxide photosynthesis turns into sugars. Now, that sugar then goes through two processes. The first one is to be eaten by consumers, so going through the food chain. When that happens, the animal will go through respiration, releasing carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. So it goes from glucose to carbon dioxide. Plants also respire. It's really important you remember that. So plants will also respire. So respiration puts carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. When the animals and the plants die, they go through something called decomposition, by which they go and they basically rot. So you get detritivores and sapropores doing this. Those are terms you don't necessarily need to know. However, it breaks down the sugars and the other carbon compounds within organic matter within the animals and plants. Now, a lot of time that is then recycled. So this is the decomposers, those bacteria, those fungi releasing carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere through respiration. However, in some instances, this won't happen, and over millions and millions of years, they will turn into fossil fuels. Now, this takes millions and millions of years. This is where the issues are with this cycle. This takes a very long time to happen. So this is carbon sink, which we'd call it here, where it just removes carbon from the ecosystem. This carbon sink is then stays underground. However, we have started taking this in recent times out, and the coal is included in this, taking it out of the ground and burning it for fuels, for energy. So burn it in factories, burn it in cars in order to get energy. That process, combustion, put carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere. And this is where the balance is sort of being thrown out of sync a little bit, because this system here is quite easily maintained naturally. By adding this extra system, this extra processing, we're adding extra carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. So key processes: photosynthesis takes it out, decomposition puts it into the ground, consumers put it into the food chain, respiration puts carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere, and combustion puts carbon dioxide back into the atmosphere.